Hello and welcome, everyone. As you're all just getting in, you'll realize that you came in with your mics off and cameras muted. We do ask that you keep it this way for the duration of the presentation. My name is Maria Bushman, and I'm the Student Recruitment Specialist for School of Business and Media. Before we get started, I would like to acknowledge that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territory of the Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam nations. This session is being recorded, so you can view this afterwards. As mentioned in the email with your Zoom link, this means that there's some of your information that could be potentially shared. It will be posted on YouTube as well as the BCIT webpage for the Summer Student Success Series. I am joined here today by the wonderful Caroline DePatie, as well as Kevin Wainwright, who is currently our acting dean of the School of Business. With myself, I also have Sheena Clarkson, who is the other student recruitment specialist at the School of Business and Media. Me and Sheena will be doing our best to answer your questions in the chat. If we do miss any of your questions, we will get to them after the presentation. You can even answer them live from the wonderful Caroline or Kevin. And without further ado, I'll pass it on to Kevin Wainwright to start talking about some of the technology you'll need to know about before getting into BCIT.
Great, thank you. I'm just going to try to share my screen. Real test of whether I'm the right guy to talk about technology, but okay. There we go. So can everyone see that the School of Business landing page? Is that good? First off, everything now is online, and while that's in some ways makes life much easier, it sometimes makes it more complicated, especially for a large institute like BCIT. One of the first things that I'm going to talk about is you should always go to your program area, and I'm going to take business administration, and I'm going to take the BBA degree as an example. So over here, you got the overview of the program. You will see where it says entrance requirements, costs and supplies, courses, program details, graduating, frequently asked questions, and so on. It's important to go through all of those details. There's a lot of useful information in there, especially around things like BYOD. Every program will have some kind of information, so you can, for your particular program, go and check and make sure you've looked through all of these tabs to see what they have put up regarding the programs. So that is just a beginning point as you surf your way through BCIT. When you're on the BCIT website, you will see at the top, there's a tab for what's called the Learning Hub and a tab for what's known as My BCIT. So I'm going to start off with the My BCIT. All of you should have been on My BCIT since in order to get registered and do your get your messages. My BCIT is sort of the main platform for administrative and where you get messages, you'll get your transcripts, as well as a vast array of resources. So when you're on there, you'll see the side menu that says you go in and you can see which courses you're registered in. In my case, these are courses that for I can change the terms. So let's go ahead to fall of 2021. And there's a list of courses that I'm attached to currently: calculus and media entrepreneurship. Now, you'll notice it says media entrepreneur, and there's a 5-digit number. We call those the course reference number, or the CRN. They're how we differentiate between which section of any course people are in. That's not that important at this point. This tells you that you've been registered. Other than that, this is not a teaching platform. It's a resource platform. If we go back to the home, come on, click. It's going a little slow here. On the home page, you will find links to the Student Association, rec services, any type of institute support. You can also, on the My BCIT is down here, you'll see what's called the self-serve section. In my case, it has one for students, faculty, and employee. Yours will probably just say students, and you can go in here, and this is where you can get things like your tax return forms for your tuition, see your fees, see any communications from the Institute, request a transcript. Okay, so that is what the self-serve component does. If we go back to the home, as you will see on the, if you go through, you will see that Campus Life gives you a wide range of links to the maps of the campus, recreation, athletics, and this thing is always being populated with new and exciting initiatives, events that you can participate in. So this is all part of the basics of getting registered and making sure that you've got all your documentation and you're ready to go. Once you're ready to go, then what you're really going to be using online the most is probably the Learning Hub. And let's see. This is the BCIT Learning Hub. There will be, when you come in here, you will see, you will have these nice little colored tiles that represent your courses that you're in. So there should be one for every course you're registered in. And you will notice along the top here, it says 2021-20, 2021-30 fall. So BCIT is broken into 3 semesters, winter, summer, fall. And we number them 2021-10, 2021-20, and 2021-30. Just one of BCIT's legacy systems. So you can click on the fall and you can go in and go inside your course, and you will find that the instructor will have put news announcements. They will have their activities, course tools in here. They can form, your instructors will post videos, they'll post PowerPoints, homework assignments. You'll be able to load in and upload your assignments for your courses. In most cases, you can take online testing through the Learning Hub, depending on the course. As well as you can engage, and your instructor can set you guys up in teams and discussion groups that you will be able to interact with during set times, whether you're interacting in what we call synchronous, which means everybody's online at the exact same time, talking in live through the internet, or asynchronous, which is when you are going in and resources like videos, lecture notes, PowerPoints have been posted. Okay. Now, besides the individual courses in the term, one thing I wanted to point out is, and I got to go back to the home page, is if you look along where it says My Courses, you will see it says all pinned 2021-20 spring, summer, fall. Then there's this one that says 2021 ongoing. And if you click on 2021 ongoing, this one will take you to a series of resources and either program pages, help pages, mini courses, non-credit courses that you can use throughout the time you're at BCIT, including like the Student Success Hub, which you can click and go in, and there's a series of resources about what you can use at BCIT to assist you in your studies. And then you'll see that in the resources, they have links to academic links to the test center, career links that lets you see what's out there in the workforce, either part-time work while you're in school or potentially looking for careers after. There's also the financial aid and awards section. I strongly suggest many of you peruse through this. There is an amazing number of bursaries and scholarships that are available. And important for people to realize what's out there and make sure you put an application in. As well as there's the health and wellness component at BCIT, and you can find the links to the Accessibility Center, counseling, the sleep pods, student associations, health and dental plan, Indigenous services, international services. So the Learning Hub is somewhere you will spend a fair bit of your time. Every course will be in here that you're taking. Your instructors will have some form of updates that come up here regularly. You will find that different instructors will probably populate it in a slightly different way, but it tends to all be exactly the same. So I'm going to actually jump back to, let's see, fall of 2019, 30. And okay, so here is a course that this is a course I taught last semester, and you'll see when you come on, it's got, I put in the introduction, talks about joining the course and getting access to the Pearson MyLab, which I'll talk about shortly. You can also go in and view content and actually course tools, groups, emailing the instructor from inside my BCIT. And let me go back. And so, yeah, so the Learning Hub is the primary touch point for all courses, whether you're on campus or working remotely. This is the primary platform by which you will get your homework, get your notes, get announcements from the instructors. Even those that will announce them in class, they will still post something up on the Learning Hub for you, okay? So the Learning Hub is one of the biggest ones. The other one that when you're on campus is going to be critical is where are you and where are you supposed to be? And BCIT Site Center, hang on one second, there we go. Now, your My BCIT account will have a rudimentary timetable, but the School of Business and most of the other schools are operating on the what we call the timetable portal, which is what you're looking at right now. And you will be able to go in here, pick your program, and you will notice the 4 digits prefix that we use. You will become very familiar with these. BMGT is business management, FMGT is financial management. These are the acronyms we toss around at BCIT as part of our BCIT speak. You will learn these. You will be attached to a set that will be grouped inside one of these. So here you'll see under business management, there is BMGT 1A and 1B, 3A and 3B. So 1A and 1B are first semester, 3A and 3B are third semester. So that's both in the fall. If you're in Set A, you pick your timetable, and you can see in this website all the classes that are scheduled in the fall term for Set A. You'll see that, for example, they have a class 9:30 to 11:20 for communications, and they're in the room SW1 2500 or 2590. And the instructor is Linda Megan. We go over and we see 8:30 Wednesday, they have a marketing class in SW1. And you will see that there are links that you can click on. So for example, we can go in and Matthew Hausman is teaching Intro Accounting, FMGT 1100. Click on Matthew and you get Matthew's schedule. So you can see where your instructor is. And that makes it easier for things like seeing, he'll post his office hours on this page and you can see his availability, whether he's on or off campus. So you will find the timetable portal is something that you will use and go to frequently. Let me go back in 1A. What you can also do is you can print off a copy of your timetable, and you can also from the site download it into your phone so that you have it in your, if you have a smartphone, you can download your timetable so that it becomes in your smartphone and you have it to take it anywhere you go. Okay.
Hey, Kevin.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Our students, when can they have access? Do they have access to this now? And I just want to point out to the top where it says this is a draft timetable. So it could change anytime from you to when you start. You are expected in full-time program day school to be available from 8:30 to 5:30, Monday to Friday till school starts. So are these available for students now? And how will students know which group they're in, like in terms of set?
Okay, students should have been in your My BCIT in your registration. It should have which set they're in. We can also once the registration and you've been assigned to a particular course reference in full timetable, then they've put you in your set. It should be available on My BCIT. If not, you can email the program head. I'll have to double check on if they've updated how they communicate what set you're in. But everybody who's registered has been assigned to a set. And what is important at BCIT is to understand that we operate in what is called a cohort model or a set system. So if you're in BMGT 1A, you're with a group of 25 students, 22 to 25 students, and you will be together every course on your timetable, the same group of students. You all share, set A shares the exact same timetable. You will have big lectures where you will be in a lecture with set B and possibly other sets from other programs, but you will always have your set, which will meet with your instructor in every course. And we call those, where one set meetings with your instructor are called labs. So you have lectures, which can have multiple sets together, and then we have the labs. What is important, and I'm going to go back to the timetable, and Caroline's going to talk about best practices in teamwork. But one of the things that's important for you when you get here and you're in your full-time set is time management and scheduling. You're going to have a lot of group projects, and you need to schedule meetings and planning sessions outside of the classroom. The beauty of the timetable portal is that if you're in set A and you think that you're free to have a meeting Wednesday at 9:30, you know that everybody in your set is free at 9:30. So anyone on your team can meet there. This is critical for the type of applied hands-on education you're going to get at BCIT, and that working in the set system, especially with the heavy amount of class scheduling that you have going into the fall, the ability to know exactly where you're supposed to be and where everyone else is supposed to be is a valuable piece of information for doing your non-classroom group work. Okay, as well as everything else from planning your carpooling. So these should be available now, but again, they are draft and they are subject to change until right up until the first week of classes. Normally, we try to minimize any late changes. So usually at this late stage, we will do everything in our power not to change the timetables. There are things going on this fall that you have to be prepared for as we transition back from COVID. There may be some construction or renovations going on where we're forced to move a classroom. This will be posted and announced. If we have to move something, you will be notified by your program head, department timetabler, but the updates will all appear on this website. So it updates, changes every 12 hours. So if you think a class is being moved, check it. And if it isn't changed, check it 12 hours later. And if it hasn't changed, then it probably isn't. So you can, but yeah, this site is kept current and up to date and refreshed with all changes at any point. And like I said, the instructors that you will have classes with will use this website. They will post their office hours as soon as they get back in the fall. So you can go in, like I said, we went to Matthews, we can go to Linda and see her schedule. And at some point she will populate her timetable with scheduled office hours. And there is even a capability for instructors to put in Zoom link office hours. But this will become an incredibly important part of your time at BCIT. Is the timetable portal will let you see a snapshot where you are. You can scroll through week by week. In most cases, your timetables are set for the term, but sometimes there may be something like a review class may be inserted in week 5, just before midterms. So it's important to go back and check and take a look at what's going on the timetable site. Okay. So the My BCIT site is.
Evan, is it okay if I interrupt you for just one moment?
Sure.
So just a couple questions in the chat that I feel like might just be relevant at the moment. Is this a timetable portal available for all programs?
All School of Business programs, all School of Energy programs, all School of Computing, and this fall we should have School of Construction and the Environment in there. But definitely all School of Business programs are in here. As well, trades are not in here, so trade students in here, and health sciences are not in here. They have their own unique particular schedules, so they're not on this site. But most of the 2-year diploma and the degree programs can be found on this website.
Okay, there just seems to be one question in the chat that apparently there is not an option for MDIA, but they do see some of the instructors. So could they just be a different abbreviation for the new media program?
No, it means then that if your MDIA hasn't appeared here, it means that they haven't finalized the timetable. So it will appear here, the MDIA. But if you can get to your instructor timetables, you can see most of where the classes are. You will get for digital arts and new media, digital D3, graphic communications, they will reach out and contact each student set directly. They work in a series of dedicated specialty rooms that are a little bit different on the coordination than most of the School of Business. So because of that, they tend to timetable things a little differently. So if you're in any of the new media, digital arts, animation program, graphic design, they will be coming up on this website, but they will also be sending you out specific information shortly. So all registered students will be receiving information about their schedules from the department, most likely from the program heads or from Terry Card.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Please continue.
Okay. Now, so that takes us through the timetable site. We've talked about the Learning Hub and the My BCIT. One other thing I wanted to touch on, it's not a BCIT in-house program, but it is Pearson is one of the two largest publishing houses where we get all our textbooks. And Pearson has a tool that's heavily used at BCIT known as the Pearson MyLab. And in there, you will find that if you take economics, there is My Econ Lab. If you take accounting, there will be a My Accounting Lab, My IT Lab. And once you registered for this, that registration will serve you well throughout any course. You don't have to join each time. And most of the courses, the linkage for the MyLab, Pearson MyLab, will actually probably be within the D2L or the Learning Hub. And when you go into the Learning Hub, you'll probably see a link to the Pearson MyLab. And once you've signed up and joined the Pearson MyLab, I'm just going to log into my account. And you come in and you will have your list of courses that you register for. You can go in and let's see, click on this one. And you're looking at mine. I'll have a couple more tabs because it's an instructor version, but in here you can see the course homepage where, let's get there. Okay. So in the MyLab, you will have a series of interactive homework assignments. You will find that your instructors will post, who use the MyLab series, they will treat it much like the Learning Hub, except in here you will have interactive assignments, quizzes, and these are especially used for courses that are taught online, but they're also used in full-time day school. You will find that you can go in and there will be access to the e-text. You will have chapter resources, and you can go in and let's see, right. You can go in and it'll let you for each chapter do a study plan. You can go in and for each chapter, they will have interactive quizzes that you can take, which is, what do I know? What have I learned? And if there's an assignment, as you can see here, it says quiz 1. And that will be part of the course grading. The Pearson series is a phenomenal learning tool where they have populated this with, it allows the course and the instructor to give homework and quizzes to students. But what it also has is an incredible amount of study and practice questions. So quite often students getting ready for a midterm or a final really want some practice questions. This is the place you go. And it uses, for the numerical courses, this thing uses a algorithm where it refreshes every time it refreshes. It gives you a slightly different version of the same question. So you can practice a question you're not that strong at over and over again. And the same question will just, after you've answered it, will give you another version with just slightly different numbers. So you can work on it on the same question all day. And every time you open it, the numbers will change. It is a fantastic resource, especially for courses in mathematics, accounting, economics, where you want to practice certain skills or techniques. This is the place to go. Back to the main menu and my courses. So as you join more and more courses, they will appear in your course list so that you can go in, and it's important that if you're in a course that's using this, that when you go into the course, go into this one, that when you go to the course homepage, you can check where the assignments are, you can check how you're progressing, and you need to also check your announcements to see what is going on and what's been posted. The Learning Hub, My Lab, will always be evolving dynamically as instructors add more materials in throughout the term. So when you go into the portal, what you see today, there will be more tomorrow. So check, expand all the links, double check to see if anything new has been added. Now the beauty too of the learning of the way the MyLab series works, if you get stuck on a particular question, then you can click on a link that it says ask my instructor. MyLab, if you ask the question of your instructor while you're inside the MyLab, it actually sends a link that connects the instructor to the exact question that you've been working on. So they can see the question you're trying to solve. They can see the answers you've already inputted. And every student gets a slightly different version of the question. So it's very important to take advantage of this tool to, once you're in the learning, in the MyLab, working on a question, click on the link that says ask my instructor, because that will allow the instructor to see exactly what you're working on when you email them. If you exit the learning MyLab and then just email your instructor afterwards saying I got stuck on the Learning Hub, they can't see where you got stuck and what exactly the question is. So take a few minutes in any of the courses, and once you've had one class with MyLab experience, you'll find they all are pretty much the same, and they have truly been one of the more popular platforms that we've adopted in the last 10 years. Okay, so I have covered off, so the timetable portal, the MyLab, the My BCIT portal, and the Learning Hub are probably the four places, your four touch points that you're going to be activating or accessing on a regular basis throughout the term. Okay. At that point, that is everything I've got about the resources that you should first start using when you get here. When you go through your program, there are many more online tools and resources. Many of them are program or course specific. So I don't want to overwhelm people today by talking about a bunch of platforms that you may not use until you're in your fourth semester. But you will find a lot of these a lot of these resources are available. And just check with your instructor if you're not sure. We are continuously putting updates, and especially under the where it says ongoing, go in there periodically. A lot of student-based help as we develop, we post them in here. So we have the peer tutoring link, the e-learning coaching. This one is closed, but it's the math evaluation, and the Student Success Hub, as well as access to other resources around the campus. Okay, so that brings me to, let's see, 1 second. Okay, so at that point, I'm going to end the visual part of my presentation. Maria, is there any other questions from the chats?
No questions that haven't been answered yet. Seems like we covered everything.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay. So I think I'll take it over from here, Kevin, right?
Yep.
High five, you're on this side of my screen. High five. There you go.
Oh, you're exact opposite
You're on
on
the
my
other side.
screen.
Doesn't work.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you, Acting Dean Kevin, for this great presentation. So we just have about 20 minutes left. We're gonna try to finish about 5 minutes early to answer questions for sure, but my part was more looking at teamwork at BCIT. And thank you, Kevin, for showing the schedule, because I had that in my things to show you, because I think it really shows you how busy you are, and that definitely when you work with your work groups, you need to fit it into the times that are available. So I'm just gonna share a little PowerPoint with you. And Maria, interrupt me if I can't really see the chat at the same time. So if there's anything, just interrupt me. So these are the points that were covered by Kevin. So again, thank you for doing that. Let me just move on here. I'm going to talk about working in teams. If you didn't know, BCIT is not really the British Columbia Institute of Technology. It's be crammed into teams. We are famous for that. Lots of teamwork, especially in the School of Business. So I know I just told you, Maria, but I'm going to try to, I can't see the chat. Let me see if I can, but I was just going to get you to, and Maria, maybe you can read those for me, but I just want to, the group here, get a feel of what do you feel the benefits are of working in teams in a school setting? So if you want to write a few things in the chat, and Maria, maybe you can read them out for me. So what are some of the benefits of working as part of a team or a work group?
Better experience for the workforce is one that we got right away. That's a great one. Any other? They can't all be bad. Similar to workplace, fair. Sharing ideas is another great one mentioned. One can enhance their skills, networking, learning to effectively work with each other. Some members can fill in the gaps in potential weaknesses of other members. Division of labor, totally correct. None of us like working hard, let's be honest here. Easier to solve problems with different perspectives.
So those are all awesome. So you can keep on writing them, but you get the idea. Obviously, that's all that. And I really like the first one is we at BCIT prepare you for real work experience. And believe me, I've been in the workforce for 30 plus years, and I work with teams every day. So this is the new, and it's not the new, but it's always been, but more so working with teams that are virtual teams, that are face-to-face team. So really, really important. Division of labor, you know, that's all it makes sense, bringing strength of each other's different perspectives. So you guys had great answer. So exactly. What are some of the challenges for working in teams? And Maria, I figured out the chat, so I can see it now. Thank you.
Wonderful.
You were so good though. Thank you. So scheduling for sure, different work ethics, disagreement. Yes, yes. So definitely some challenges, right? I think disagreement's important. Again, different work ethics. I don't know if more people are gonna chimney in here and write some stuff, but yeah, it could be challenging to work as a team. You know, you may lack expertise somewhere. You may have a team member that doesn't pull their weight. So all these can definitely happen. So you can definitely start, you know, keep putting stuff in. But I just wanted to go over some details and tips for successful teamwork at BCIT. Kevin talked quite intensively about the set culture. So usually, especially, there might be some PTS students here, but if you're here, you're a full-time daytime students, you will be put in sets. You'll be given teamwork within these sets. In some of your class, your instructor will assign teams, and in others, you will decide. But so it depends on the instructors, but you will stay again within that set. Kevin showed you the schedule, which was perfect. So find common times to meet based on your schedule. You should be able to work on your courses Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 5:30, and you should be committed to these chosen time. Okay, Maria, I read your note. Yeah, so be committed to these times. Typically, you'd be in class about 5 hours a week, 8:30 to 5:30 every day. It's about 45 hours. So there'll be about 20 hours that you can probably fit team groups, and try to stick to that time. If you're in a team in your organizational behavior class, or in your econ class, or your financial management class, or your ops management class, try to find a set time where you can meet on a weekly basis. Often that works before class or after class is very classic for students. Establish team goals, and some instructors will talk to you about that. Have terms of reference. What is our team? What are we here to accomplish, and how are we going to accomplish this? And our terms of reference are: we need to be on time, we need to let everybody speak, we need to take roles being the leaders. Establish work plans, and you'll learn in some of your course, you'll learn about Gantt charts if you haven't learned about Gantt charts already, but that's kind of a timeline. What do we need? What's our end goal, and what do we need to accomplish? Team charters, some of your instructors will talk to you about a team charter. It's another word for a term of reference. So there's different words that different instructors will use when they talk about goal setting and working as a team. A little bit more here. Stay focused during your meeting times. It's not time to start talking about the movie you saw last night, or what you're doing on Friday night, or just stay focused on what you need to do. You have limited time. Take notes, and I wrote the term in action. So always say, okay, what are our actions for next time we meet? What do we need to do? Where are we at? Come prepared to your team meeting with your work done. Don't be a coat-tailer, which means like you're just riding on everybody else doing the work, or a social loafer is another term. You will not survive at BCIT if you're a social loafer, or if you're a coat-tailer. You need to do your part. Understand again that within your set culture and within the groups you're going to be, you need to do your part, because if you don't, it's going to be quick enough that you're going to have trouble getting into groups. You need to do your part. Do your part. You will not survive at BCIT if you do not do your part. Use technology that works for your team. Different teams use different things. The common ones, Google Docs. You can share document. You can, and you guys, especially if you come out of the high school system, you've used Google Docs, where you can share and contribute to a document, and your instructor can talk to you about different platform. Be organized and stay on task. I can say this, and that comes back to the point before. Stay focused. Talk to your instructor if your team is having problems. Your instructor can help you. It's their job. So as soon as there's a conflict, or there's something that doesn't work, go to your instructor and ask for advice. Some instructor, again, will have very specific process on how to do that. Some instructor will ask you to put a team charter together that they will sign, and the team charter might say, if there's conflict, this is how we're going to deal with it. So you'll be coached through your instructors to do teamwork. Check with your instructor. Check with your instructor on specific things around teamwork, procedures, process. Sometimes listed on course outline, or separately. So your instructor again will talk to you about this. So lots of teamwork, and for all the positive reason that we had lots of positive reasons that you guys talked about earlier. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. This was a very quick note on working in teams at BCIT, just a quick 15 minutes or so. What I wanted to say here is just to make sure, just to recap some of the stuff we've done, check your My BCIT email frequently, check with instructors' expectation regarding lab, lectures, teamworks, and so on. Check your Learning Hub for each course for instructions. Please note, I don't think Kevin said that, but the Learning Hub used to be called Desire to Learn, D2L. So some instructors will still call it D2L. So D2L is the Learning Hub. Some instructor will call it the Hub. So just check in if you're not sure what it is, but it is your course management system that assists your face-to-face class. Check the school welcome page for checklist. You have the link here. Maybe Maria can put the link in the chat. And Maria might go through this, and I know Kevin, you have something to add here, but I just wanted to say this is our link for our student success summer student success series. We do have 2 more sessions coming, one on August 23rd next week on library resource and academic integrity, a really good one to attend. Another one on August 30th about diversity, inclusion, and COVID guidelines. So Kevin, I will unshare and leave it up to you. And if there's any questions about anything, you can put that in the chat. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Caroline. So I'm going to just briefly talk to you about with my role as the dean. So besides the tools we've shown you, there is lots of tools and platforms that people use all the time. Facebook, Dropbox, Google Docs, Slack, WhatsApp. Please bear in mind that when you're using these tools, these you cannot assume are private. So always be cognizant to use them to communicate, make plans for your courses, but be careful of your private information. Also, while you're on campus, whether you're using Dropbox, Facebook, Google Docs, the Learning Hub, or My BCIT, everything passes through our servers. You are governed by the BCIT's policies on privacy and technology. So just a word of warning, there's lots of great tools, and many of you play around with them and they use them for social planning and such, and there's no problem using those. Just bear in mind, they are not viewed as a secure platform, and be conscious of your privacy and your classmates' privacy when using these tools, because you can't guarantee that a closed group stays closed. So use this technology, but like anything else, use it with prudence and take the due care just for those basic things. We're all aware of having our phones hacked and our computers hacked and our identity stolen. So like anything else for technology, it's very powerful, but you also have to use it with a sense of responsibility. So that's all the little bit I wanted to add at the end there. So thanks.
Glad you added that, Kevin. Anything else in terms of for you, for teamwork, that you feel is important?
The biggest thing is that people hire BCIT grads because they are job ready. And part of that job ready is the team. And it's not just the content, it's more than the courses. It's your ability to meet with a group of people, set a schedule, meet with them, finish on time, meet your deadlines. And employers love BCIT grads because they're so good at that. And that goes beyond the course, the content that you're working on for your course. That skill of working with that group is what differentiates BCIT. We're so strong with the teamwork, but take it professionally, be professional. It's a business meeting. When you go to a meeting with your cohort, your team, whether you're meeting in a classroom, meeting in the Starbucks on campus, at Tim Hortons, it's a business meeting. And get in that culture, because that will serve you well when you graduate. Okay, that's my extra.
Yeah, no, Kevin, I like what you just said, and especially in year 2, you guys will have what we call a BCP, business consulting projects for most programs. So in your business consulting program projects, you'll have to meet with a client. So having that professional meeting, kind of what you're talking about, Kevin, is really important for that. Really, really important. Okay, any questions to wrap up the evening? Maria, should I leave it back to you?
Potentially, we actually have gotten through all of the questions that were in the chat. So if anyone has any remaining questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat and we'll be happy to answer them. We have some pretty amazing resources at hand in front of you with Caroline, Kevin, Sheena, and I guess kind of me.
Yeah, and thank you for coming, everybody. I'm not going to speak for Kevin or everybody else, but I think they will echo my sentiment. We're super excited to see you guys like in September. This is, you know, it's been a long haul and we're ready and excited. So I look forward to seeing your faces for real. Or face to face.
I would echo that. We are looking forward. This will be an exciting semester because you will be the first post-COVID class. And even if it seems a bit disorganized, we have a plan, the amount of hours spent this summer to make sure that we're up and running and we are as safe as possible and as accessible as possible has been the primary mission we've been on for the last 9 months. So it's exciting time. Everybody will be excited to be back. There'll be a lot of new changes on campus. It'll be an adventure. You're in for a new adventure. Even second year students are going to have an adventure with the fall. So look forward to it. Look forward to seeing you on campus.
Maria, I saw somebody say orientation, they will, we get to know where our classes are. I know some program will host campus tours. I don't know if all will do, but if not, is BCIT organizing campus tours, Maria? Maria disappeared. I think there's going to be campus tour, but I know some programs will host campus tour.
Yeah, there will be campus tours. What there will also be, because we don't have, normally second year students are tour guides for first years, and the second years were online last year. We developed a new activity for orientation day where we've put QR codes around the campus and a scavenger hunt with prizes to help students learn the campus by going around to key places, scanning the QR code. And when you've got all the QR codes scanned, then you'll win a prize and you'll learn the campus while doing that. And when you get here, I saw a question in the chat about meeting rooms and spaces. There are lots of student bookable meeting rooms in the Student Association, in the main buildings, in the library. So when you get here, find out quickly. And some of them have a slightly different booking process, but there are lots of rooms you can reserve for groups of 4 and 5 to have a meeting. That's not a problem at BCIT.
Hey, Kevin, I actually just saw a question about the online COVID completion course in the Learning Hub. Could you speak a little bit about that and what everyone has to do?
Yes, everybody has to take, the students have to go through it. It shouldn't take more than 10 or 15 minutes. It just basically gives you an overview of the protocols we use. It gives you some education on self-assessment. It tells you what to look for, how we approach group interactions under different protocol regimes. The one thing about going into the fall is we are transitioning back to normal. So unfortunately, the rules are evolving. So it's important to do the COVID, that pandemic course in the Learning Hub. Your program heads will at some point be asking you and checking to make sure that you've actually gone through and done it. It's important for everyone to do it. If we're accessing certain buildings and using certain resources on campus, groups like safety and security will check to see whether all the people have completed the course. So it is important. It only takes 10, 15 minutes. You learn a little bit about COVID-19, BCIT, and some of the basic protocols we have.
Great, thank you so much.
Perfect. And then in the chat, as been answered the questions regarding obviously recordings in the Learning Hub, you are going to have to reach out to your instructors because different instructors will have different opinions on posting recordings or even recording their classes. So that's something you will have to ask your instructor about. And
yeah, Maria, sorry, I just want to interrupt here. Like, I just want to just clarify that our courses in September are scheduled to be face-to-face. Not every classroom has the capacity to record the instructor. So with face-to-face class, it might be a little bit more challenging to have recording. So just, and Kevin, you might know more, but so I'm not sure. It may be also classroom dependent. Yeah.
We have very few classrooms that are actually right now set up for recording. We are looking at improving the number of rooms that can do blended. And by blended, I mean 5 or 6 people in the room with a monitor, a big monitor and a speaker where 5 or 6 people are on Zoom. So that's something that we've been working aggressively to get in place in certain rooms around campus so that you can participate. There will be accommodation issues. Some people who are immune compromised won't be able to go into crowded, smaller rooms. We're looking at workarounds such as having the ability. Today we were looking at, can we put cameras, recording cameras in some of the specialty labs? This happens to be in broadcast, so that if the room is too small, people will live stream the room to a classroom next door. Things like that will be done. Okay. Recording of face-to-face classes is almost non-existent. Recording of online courses is much more common. Some instructors will record the lecture that you attend and post it as a recording. Others may choose to post. They will give the lecture online without recording it, but they will post a bunch of short, specific videos that touch on some of the more common questions students ask. So this has become quite popular to put, 3 to 5 minute, a whole bunch of short videos up that cover off specific things like calculating, depreciation. There may be just a video for 2 minutes talking about, this is how we calculate that. So you'll see a lot of different styles. I mean, one thing COVID and Zoom and online learning has given us is a greater variety of delivery methods. And some work really, really well. You're now in a brave new world of post-COVID. We're going to try to take the best we got from our experience, keep it, so that we can enhance the face-to-face traditional classroom with the technology and the lessons learned during COVID.
Okay, wonderful. And then there was a quick question about textbooks, but as mentioned, you can look at your textbook and your learning material that you need in the BCIT bookstore. It should be updated shortly if it is not already, with all the course materials needed for the fall 2021 semester. And that we have come to the end of our questions. So I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. Thank you so much, Caroline, Kevin, and Sheena, for helping out today. We hope you found this session informative. And as mentioned before, this recording will be posted most likely in the afternoon tomorrow once I get it up there. And you will be also receiving an email after this, just going your next steps. And if you are interested in joining our future sessions, the recording will be available on the Summer Student Success Series webpage, which I can repost one more time just in case. And it will be posted, as mentioned, tomorrow, likely in the afternoon. And that link is now in the chat. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.